Welcome back to Filter. I'm Diane Mizota. We're down to the last 3 spots on our countdown of the games that changed gaming forever. But before we wrap up, let's catch up. Here's a quick recap. Metroid raised the platform bar in 10th place. Metal Gear Solid unveiled a new style of stealth gameplay in 9th place. You weren't fighting about this one. Street Fighter 2 is worthy of the 8th spot. SimCity Simulation grabbed the nation. It winds up in 7th. Super Mario 64 does it like Metroid while adding a dimension. It finishes in 6th. Her Majesty is beaming as GoldenEye 007 comes in 5th. And the roof, along with everything else, is on fire in the mayhem of Grand Theft Auto 3, our 4th place finisher. While GTA 3 may have created a sense of havoc, it was always havoc with a smile. But as fans of our next game can attest, smiles are in short supply when there's an impending sense of doom. It may not have been the first first-person shooter, but its home run is the one that mattered.
Doom for the PC. That brings back a lot of memories. And that was the originator of the first-person shooter. I mean, there was Wolfenstein before that, but Doom took it to another level.
Doom was just legendary. I mean, Doom was actually a 3D environment, and you know, up until that point, PC gamers, console gamers have been stuck in sort of the 2D realm.
Just the idea that you could get scared by a PC game was such a new idea at the time, so that was just amazing.
Doom is one of the games that changed games forever because I actually got motion sickness for the first time and actually threw up. But after I threw up, I came back and played some more because it was a great game.
Doom was good enough to lock down the 3 spot, but there were some poor games that unfortunately went spotless. Here are a few titles that got filtered out.
If there's one game that definitely influenced the entire gaming scene forever, it has to be Leisure Suit Larry, because that game just totally, you know, changed what gaming was to like a late night with your friends, alone in a room, like kind of sneaking away from your parents kind of thing, which totally legitimized gaming.
The original Pac-Man. Just because Pac-Man is what kept people in the arcades back when arcades were that popular. There was always Space Invaders, there was always other games, but Pac-Man made the biggest impact on quarter munching at the time.
I think Animal Crossing really should have been on the list, and I think it's too soon for people to realize that Animal Crossing is going to be a really influential game. One, it's a game with almost no point. You play it to have fun, not to beat a boss or to get to the end of the level.
One game that should have been on the list but isn't was Contra. And it was actually weird. It was the first game I could actually go and play with my stepdad. So that was really cool. You know, we both got into that and played it together, and you know, helped us bond a little bit when I was younger and he was first coming into my life. So, you know, Contra has a special place in my heart.
Okay, it's time to move from the games that were near misses to the game that hit the bullseye. In your eyes, the 2 games that most changed gaming forever were The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Super Mario Brothers. A couple of titles that have plenty in common. Both games were created by Shigeru Miyamoto, both featured the most popular Nintendo characters of all time, and both games sucked you in for hour after hour of addictive gameplay. But both games can't be number 1, so let's get to it and do it. Ocarina of Time takes on Super Mario Brothers in another Filter Fatal.
The Ocarina of Time should win the face-off because it's a super elegant game. It had this great openness where you could go around and do anything you wanted, but you were being guided to the end of the game, even though you didn't know it. That's beautiful, like great video game design.
What it really brought new to games was the sense of scale. A lot of people thought walking across Hyrule Field was kind of boring, but it offered a world.
I understand that Mario Bros. Was influential, and like, you know, changed how people viewed gaming and how it became an acceptable market. If you're gonna have to pick one game, you got to go with Ocarina of Time.
In a face-off, I would go with Super Mario Brothers, the original NES game.
In a face-off, I pick Super Mario Brothers, hands down.
I think Super Mario Bros. Will win in the face-off because it was the next big thing.
Super Mario, because that was, you know, the game that got me into gaming.
And there are just so many people, there's so many other genres that followed afterwards that followed the same formula that I can't see anything else being the top game that changed everything.
It's a part of my childhood, just something I look back on and just remember playing Mario with my cousins for hours at it, and, you know, I love the game. It's part of my life.
Without Super Mario Brothers, we wouldn't have an EB, or we wouldn't have video games or G4. We wouldn't.
So, which did you go with? The Ocarina of Time or the game that stole time? The polls are closed, the votes are counted, and your choice for the game that changed gaming forever is Super Mario Brothers. The plumber drops a bummer on the little dude. Well, that wraps up this episode of Filter. Remember, the opinions expressed on this show are yours, not mine. So make your vote count on future episodes by logging onto the Filter show page at g4tv.com/filter. Until then, I'm Diane Mizota, and I'll see you next time.